things. Life often tests us in ways we can't predict, breaking us down through pain, struggles, and challenges that feel insurmountable. Things. But it is in those very moments of brokenness that the seeds of bravery are planted. This speech, From Brokenness to Bravery, Faith, a story of unshakable faith, inspired by Nick Vujicic's journey, is a reminder that faith can turn scars into strength, pain into purpose, things, and struggles into stepping stones. Brokenness is often perceived as the lowest point in a person's life, a place where dreams feel shattered, hope seems distant, and every step forward feels heavier than the last. Yet, in reality, brokenness is not the end. It is the very foundation upon which transformation begins. When life breaks us, it strips away the illusions we cling to, the pride that blinds us, and the distractions that keep us from recognizing our true strength. To embrace brokenness is not to celebrate pain, but to acknowledge that pain has the power to shape, refine, and teach us in ways that comfort never could. The human heart grows stronger when it has been stretched by adversity, and the spirit learns resilience when it has been tested by trials. Many times, people spend their lives running from brokenness, pretending it doesn't exist, masking it behind false smiles and shallow victories. But the truth is that only when you stop resisting it and start embracing it do you unlock the possibility of becoming more than you ever thought you could be. Think about those moments in life when everything feels like it is collapsing around you. It could be the loss of a loved one, the failure of a dream, the betrayal of someone you trusted. Or the daily struggle of living with limitations that the world does not understand. In those moments, it feels as though the pieces of your life can never be put back together again. But what if the point was not to put them back the way they were? What if the breaking was necessary so that something greater, something stronger, something more purposeful could emerge? Embracing brokenness means surrendering to the process of growth that pain initiates. It means recognizing that your scars are not marks of shame, but proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you. Every scar carries a story, and every story carries the power to inspire someone else who may be struggling with their own brokenness. There is a unique power in facing brokenness head on. Instead of asking, why me? A person begins to ask, what now? That shift in perspective transforms the way you view your struggles. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, you begin to see them as opportunities. Brokenness has the ability to humble us, to remind us that we are not in control of everything, and to teach us the importance of leaning on something greater than ourselves. For those who live with faith, brokenness is the place where reliance on God becomes real. Where prayers turn from routine words into desperate cries for strength, and where faith is no longer theoretical but practical. When everything is stripped away, what remains is the raw essence of who you are and what you truly believe in. This is the starting point of transformation. The place where bravery begins to form in the cracks of your spirit. Embracing brokenness is not about wallowing in self-pity. It is about choosing to face the truth of your situation with courage. It is about admitting that yes, life has hurt you. Yes, you have fallen, but you are still here. That acknowledgement itself is the beginning of healing. Too often, people try to avoid facing their brokenness because they are afraid of what they will feel if they confront it. But healing cannot come from denial. Just as a physical wound cannot heal properly if left untreated, emotional and spiritual wounds require attention, care, and acknowledgement. The process may be uncomfortable, but it is in that discomfort that growth occurs. When you embrace brokenness, you no longer let it define you negatively. Instead, you allow it to shape you into a stronger version of yourself. one who understands pain yet chooses not to be paralyzed by it. One of the most profound truths about embracing brokenness is that it connects us to others in ways that perfection never could. Things. People do not connect to polished masks or flawless stories. They connect to raw honesty, to the struggles that mirror their own. Things. To the authenticity that brokenness brings out in us. When you share your brokenness, you are not sharing weakness, you are sharing humanity. Things. And in that humanity lies the bridge that allows others to see that they are not alone. Things. Brokenness has the power to tear down the walls of isolation because it creates common ground. Everyone has been broken in some way. Things. And when you embrace your own brokenness, you give permission for others to do the same. Things. That act of openness not only heals you, but also empowers others to begin their journey toward bravery. Another crucial aspect of embracing brokenness is understanding that it prepares you for greater responsibility and resilience in the future. Things. Think about a tree that has weathered countless storms. Its roots grow deeper with every trial, making it stronger and more unshakable. Similarly, things. When life breaks you, your character deepens, your empathy expands, and your resilience multiplies. Things. You begin to understand pain on a level that allows you to not only endure your own challenges, but also guide others through theirs. Things. Brokenness equips you with wisdom that no textbook, no seminar, and no easy path could ever provide. Things. It forces you to grow in ways you might never have chosen voluntarily. Things, but in ways that ultimately strengthen your foundation. Embracing brokenness is also about finding meaning in the midst of chaos. Viktor Frankl, Things, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, once wrote that suffering ceases to be suffering the moment it finds meaning. Things. When you embrace your brokenness, you begin to seek the lessons within the pain. Perhaps the lesson is patience or empathy or perseverance. Things. Perhaps the lesson is to let go of pride, to ask for help, or to trust in a higher purpose. Whatever the lesson, brokenness is the teacher. Things. And bravery is the result of learning. Without brokenness, bravery is theoretical. With brokenness, bravery becomes tangible, lived, ends, and proven through experience. To embrace brokenness is also to accept that life will not always be fair. Things. But it will always offer opportunities to rise again. Things. It is to realize that strength is not found in avoiding pain, but in enduring it with faith and courage. When you stop running from brokenness, things, you stop wasting energy on fear. You start using that energy to rebuild, to reimagine, and to rise. Things. You begin to understand that every setback is not a permanent defeat, but a setup for a comeback. Brokenness may knock you down. Things, but embracing it means you refuse to stay down. You take those broken pieces and build something new. Things, something more aligned with who you are meant to be in the end. Brokenness is not the enemy, it is the invitation. Things. It is the doorway through which transformation enters, the soil in which bravery grows, the furnace in which faith is refined. Things. When you embrace brokenness, you step into the possibility of becoming more compassionate, more courageous, things, and more connected to both your purpose and to others. It is the first and most essential step on the journey from brokenness to bravery, and without it, true transformation cannot begin. ChatGPT said, things. Finding strength and faith during life's darkest moments is not just an idea to be admired from afar. Things, but a lived reality for anyone who has endured storms that threaten to break them completely. Darkness in life takes many forms. Things, the emptiness after loss, the heavy weight of failure, the silence after betrayal, the loneliness that creeps in when you feel forgotten. Things, or the endless frustration of fighting battles that never seem to end. In such moments, human strength feels insufficient, willpower feels fragile. Things. And even hope feels like it is slipping through your fingers. Yet faith enters as a light, not necessarily removing the darkness immediately. Things. but giving you the strength to walk through it without being consumed. Faith whispers that the end of the story has not been written yet. Things that what looks like defeat today can be transformed into a future of victory, and that even in silence, you are not truly alone. Things. This strength in faith is not always dramatic, but it is steady. It shows itself in small choices, in refusing to quit. Things. In holding on when everything in you wants to let go. When life plunges you into darkness, it can feel suffocating. Your vision is clouded. Things. Your path is unclear and your heart is overwhelmed. People often search for strength in external sources, in possessions, achievements, things, or the validation of others. But when those fade away, faith becomes the one anchor that cannot be shaken. Things. To find strength in faith is to admit that your own strength has limits, but that there exists a power beyond your understanding. Things. Greater than your weakness that can sustain you. This reliance is not a sign of weakness. It is the essence of true strength. Things. For faith does not mean pretending the pain doesn't exist, but believing that pain does not have the final word. Things. It does not mean denying the weight of life's trials, but trusting that you will not be crushed under them. Things. Faith is the unseen hand that steadies you when the storm rages. Things. The quiet voice reminding you to keep moving even when you can't see the road ahead. There are countless examples throughout history and personal experience where faith became the turning point in someone's darkest hour. Things. A parent grieving the loss of a child, yet finding comfort in the belief that their child rests in peace beyond this life. Things. An individual battling illness who finds courage not from the prognosis, but from the conviction that their story holds greater meaning than their suffering. Things. A broken dream that leads someone to discover a new purpose they had never considered before. Things. Revealed only because they chose to trust instead of give up. These stories show that darkness is not the end when faith is present. Faith transforms despair into endurance, fear into courage, and uncertainty into trust. Things. It allows you to step into tomorrow even if today feels unbearable. Things. Strength in faith is not about eliminating the storm, but about surviving it with your soul intact and your spirit unbroken in the darkest moments. Things. Faith also provides perspective. When pain is all you see, it is easy to believe that your struggle is permanent. Faith, however, things, broadens your vision, reminding you that seasons change, that what is unbearable today may be the foundation of growth tomorrow. Things. Just as the night cannot stop the dawn from coming, your darkest valley cannot prevent hope from rising. Things. Faith reminds you that life is bigger than your immediate circumstances. Things. And that even if you do not understand the why, you can still trust in the possibility of redemption. Things. This perspective is crucial because despair thrives on the belief that nothing will ever change. Things. Faith counters that lie with the assurance that change is always possible, even when invisible. Things. This shift in perspective can be the difference between giving up and holding on. Things. Between being consumed by darkness and learning to walk through it with resilience. Faith also strengthens because it calls forth courage. Things. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. In the darkest times, fear becomes overwhelming. Things. Whispering lies that you are not strong enough, that you are forgotten, that your pain is meaningless. Faith rises against those lies. Things. Declaring that you are stronger than you think, that you are not abandoned, and that your struggle has purpose. Things. This courage enables you to face challenges without being paralyzed by them. It empowers you to take one more step, to breathe one more breath. Things. To fight one more day. Even when your strength feels gone, faith gives you the resolve to keep going. Things. Knowing that every step forward is an act of defiance against the darkness. This courage drawn from faith is not loud or boastful. Things. Often it is quiet and steady, but it is unshakable. Another way faith provides strength is through connection. In dark times, things, people often feel isolated as though no one can truly understand their pain. Faith breaks that isolation. things, connecting you to something larger than yourself, whether it is God, a higher purpose, or a sense of divine love that surpasses comprehension. Things. This connection reminds you that you are not walking alone, that unseen forces are at work even when you cannot perceive them. Thing. For those who believe in God, it is the assurance that He walks with you in every valley, that He hears every cry, and that He never abandons His children. Things. This knowledge lifts the crushing weight of loneliness and instills a quiet confidence that you are carried when you can no longer carry yourself. Things. The strength of faith is not always about dramatic miracles, but about the steady assurance of presence. Things. The belief that you are accompanied even in silence. Faith also reshapes how you interpret your struggles. Things. Instead of seeing them purely as punishment or meaningless suffering, faith reframes them as opportunities for growth, for deepening resilience. Things. And for discovering strength you never knew you had. When you view your struggles through the lens of faith, things, they no longer appear as random cruelty, but as part of a larger narrative that can be redeemed. This does not minimize the pain, but it gives the pain purpose. Things. A person who emerges from the fire of trial with faith intact is not the same as before. They carry wisdom, empathy, things, and strength that cannot be learned in comfort. The darkest moments become a classroom. Things. And faith is the teacher that helps you extract meaning from the lessons. In this way, things, the very things that threaten to break you, become the building blocks of a stronger things. Bravery, another remarkable aspect of faith in dark times is its ability to spark hope. Hope is fragile when based on circumstances, things. But when rooted in faith, it becomes resilient, even when nothing seems to be improving outwardly. Things. Faith nurtures a deep-seated hope that refuses to die. This hope is what keeps you looking forward instead of backward. Things. Expecting good even when all you see is bad, and believing in a better tomorrow even when today feels unbearable. Hope born from faith is powerful because it fuels perseverance. It keeps you from surrendering to despair and encourages you to keep pressing on. Knowing that storms eventually pass and light eventually returns. This kind of hope is not naive, it is courageous. It acknowledges the reality of pain but refuses to let pain dictate the future. Finding strength in faith during life's darkest moments ultimately shapes your identity. It strips away the false identities built on success, possessions, or appearances and reveals the core of who you truly are. When you endure darkness and hold on to faith, you come out not just as a survivor, but as someone transformed. Your identity shifts from being defined by what you went through to being defined by how you endured it. People who find strength in faith carry a depth, a humility, and a resilience that inspires others. Their lives become testimonies of what is possible when human weakness meets divine strength. They stand as living proof that even in the deepest valleys, faith has the power to sustain, to strengthen, and to lead to victory. Turning personal struggles into sources of inspiration is one of the most powerful transformations a human being can experience. Every person carries within them a unique set of trials, disappointments, and hardships that at times feel unbearable. These struggles can weigh heavily, leaving scars on the mind and heart, but within those scars lies a hidden strength. A story that has the power not only to lift the individual who endured it, but also to inspire countless others who may be silently facing similar battles. Struggles, when seen through the lens of defeat, can crush a person's spirit, but when viewed through the lens of growth and purpose, they become the very fuel that drives greatness. The ability to take personal pain and transform it into a beacon of hope for others is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary examples of resilience. When someone goes through a struggle, they often wonder why they must endure such hardship. It is natural to ask those questions when the weight feels overwhelming, but many times, Struggles contain hidden lessons that only reveal themselves when you step back and look at the bigger picture. Things. The person who has faced rejection learns the value of perseverance. Things. The one who has faced illness discovers the importance of gratitude for each breath. Things. The one who has lived through poverty develops compassion for those who suffer in silence. These struggles are not just personal burdens, things. They are seeds of wisdom waiting to be shared. By turning them outward, by using them to guide and encourage others, things. An individual transforms their private pain into collective strength. Inspiration does not come from perfection, but from authenticity, things. And authenticity is born in the fire of struggle. Consider how deeply people are moved when they hear a story of someone who has risen from a difficult place. Things. The impact is far greater than hearing about someone who has had a smooth and easy journey. Why? Because people see themselves in struggle. Things. They may not relate to wealth, fame, or success, but they relate to heartbreak, loss, and disappointment. Things. When you openly share how you faced your personal struggles and how you managed to rise, you create a bridge of connection. Things. You are telling the world, I know pain too, and if I could make it through, so can you. This is where true inspiration is born. Things. It's not about showcasing strength without weakness, but about showcasing strength that was built out of weakness. It's not about never falling, things, but about rising again after every fall. Struggles also have a way of uncovering hidden strengths that you may not have known you possessed. Things. When life is easy, those reserves of resilience remain untouched, but in the midst of pain, they are drawn out. Things. Someone who thought they were weak discovers they are far stronger than they imagined. Things. Someone who believed they had nothing to offer realizes that their experience of suffering allows them to empathize and connect with others in ways they never could before. Things. This strength, once uncovered, becomes a gift not only to the person who endured the struggle, but also to those who learn from their story. Things. The struggle itself becomes the evidence that you can endure hardship and still rise. And that evidence, when shared, things, can ignite a spark in another person's heart, convincing them to hold on, to keep going. Things. And to believe that they too can rise from their difficulties. The process of turning struggles into inspiration begins with acceptance. Things. Many people carry shame about their struggles, believing they make them less worthy or less valuable. But the truth is, struggles humanize us. Things. They strip away arrogance and pride, leaving behind humility and authenticity. When you learn to accept your struggles as part of your journey, things, you free yourself from shame. Instead of hiding them, you use them as a testimony of survival. Acceptance does not mean you celebrate pain, things, but it means you recognize its role in shaping who you are. Once you accept your struggles, you are able to share them with courage. And in sharing things, you give others permission to accept their own struggles without shame. Things. Inspiration often comes not from having all the answers, but from being willing to show your wounds and explain how you are healing. Every personal struggle carries within it a message that someone else desperately needs to hear. Things. For the person who has endured failure after failure but still chooses to rise, their story may inspire someone who is on the verge of giving up. Things. For the one who battled with inner doubts and self-worth but discovered their value, their journey may encourage someone who feels invisible. Things. For the one who has faced devastating loss but found hope again, their strength may offer light to someone drowning in grief. Things. The ripple effect of sharing your struggles is immense. Your story does not end with you. It becomes a part of someone else's survival kit. Things. A reminder that even in the darkest times, there is a reason to keep going. Things. The very experiences that once seemed like a curse can become a blessing when you use them to lift others' struggles. Also teach resilience. Things. And resilience is one of the most inspiring traits a person can embody. Resilience is not about avoiding hardship, but about rising through it. things, refusing to let it define you negatively. When people witness resilience in action, it awakens something in them. Things. It reminds them that they too are capable of enduring more than they realize. Things. Your resilience can serve as a living example that setbacks are not the end of the story, but part of the journey toward growth. Things. Every setback contains within it the potential for a comeback, and by embodying resilience, you inspire others to believe in their own comebacks. Things. It shows that being broken does not mean being finished, that weakness does not mean worthlessness. Things, and that every fall is an invitation to rise stronger. One of the most beautiful aspects of turning struggles into inspiration is the way it transforms suffering into service. Things. When you use your story to help someone else, your pain gains purpose. Instead of being a meaningless weight, things, it becomes a gift you can offer to the world. Helping others through your story not only brings healing to them, but also brings healing to you. Things. It redeems the struggle, turning what once felt like a wound into a source of wisdom. By serving others with your experience, things, you find meaning in what you endured. You begin to see that nothing you went through was wasted. Every tear, every scar, things. Every sleepless night becomes part of the testimony that can lead someone else toward hope. And in serving others, things, you move from being a victim of struggle to being a victor who uses pain as a platform for change. It's important to remember that inspiration does not always come from grand gestures or dramatic victories. Things. Sometimes it comes from the quiet persistence of simply not giving up. Things. A single mother working tirelessly to provide for her children despite endless challenges. Thing, a student who continues to pursue education despite setbacks and discouragement. Things. An individual living with physical limitations who refuses to let them define their worth. These everyday struggles, when shared honestly, things become powerful sources of inspiration. Things. They prove that strength is not measured only by monumental achievements, but also by the daily courage to keep moving forward in the face of difficulty. Things, ordinary struggles, when endured with grace, create extraordinary inspiration. When you choose to turn your struggles into inspiration, things, you are making a conscious decision to reclaim your power. Struggles often make people feel powerless. Things, as though life is controlling them instead of the other way around. But by sharing your story and using it to uplift others, you take back control. Things. You refuse to let your pain silence you. You refuse to let your hardship be wasted. Instead, you declare that your struggle will have meaning. Things. Not only for you, but for everyone who hears your story. Things. This act of reclaiming power is itself inspiring because it shows others that they too can take ownership of their story. Things. It demonstrates that no matter how much you have lost, you still have the power to give, to influence, and to inspire. Finally, things. Turning personal struggles into inspiration requires courage. It takes courage to be vulnerable, to admit that you have faced battles. Things. To expose parts of yourself that others might judge. But courage is contagious. When people see you stand boldly in your truth, things, they find the strength to do the same. Your willingness to share your struggles may give someone else the courage to share theirs. Things, creating a chain reaction of healing and inspiration. Things, this courage has the power to break cycles of silence and shame that keep people trapped in despair. In this way, things, your struggle becomes more than just your own. It becomes a catalyst for collective transformation. Through courage, authenticity, resilience, things, and service, personal struggles cease to be just painful memories. They become living sources of inspiration that ripple outward. Things, touching lives you may never even know, and proving that even the darkest experiences can give birth to light.